All right, folks, good evening and welcome. It's a Friday, it's the 20th day of April, 2018. Welcome to Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today, we'll share this with you. Sultan urges Miyetti Allah to expose killer herdsmen as army arrests 162 of them. Kwankwaso causes political storm with visit to Emir of Daura. Bring back our girls, BBOG 6, proof of life video of Chibok schoolgirls, and later on, Arsene Wenger to quit Arsenal after close to 22 years there. These are split opinion. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Jide, welcome, as usual.
Good evening, viewers.
And of course, Ishmael Omikwedon. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
You must have been busy making more money.
Under Buhari's administration.
Oh, come on. We are ready, I hope you are. Okay then, the unnerving thing about a delay or not being proactive is that it makes hard things a lot harder. The killer herdsmen reign of terror, like the Boko Haram menace, began humbly like child's play. Barely 1 year into President Buhari's stewardship, their mindless killings of defenseless citizens across the landscape is horrid and most distasteful. The Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, has given the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria 2 months to produce the trigger-happy amongst them and determine if these killers are truly Fulani. Better late than never. Jide, in kicking off, the Sultan laments that the attribution of killings and other criminal activities going on in various parts of the country will be attributed to Fulani herdsmen.
Yes. And it's the same way that the Emir of Anka in Zamfara State, it's the same way that he spoke. He said, see, all these things are giving the Fulani a bad name. And he urged the leadership of the Fulani race in Nigeria to do something quickly to end this killing of innocent people. If you go to Zamfara, where bandits have turned spilling of human blood into a game. The people, the victims are Fulani, the killers are Fulani. And they know these guys. We showed the picture of the new leader of those bandits, Dogo. We showed this picture to Nigerians some time ago. And the one who used to lead them, who was killed, we thought he was actually killed by soldiers, but it turned out that it was a rival gang led by Dogo that they killed him. That's Buhari Ndaji. They know these people. They know.
Who are these they?
The residents of the state. People in Zamfara. They know the guys who are killing them. Because some of those guys are so bold that they come out in the open and say, look, in this village, if you do not give us so amount of money, we are coming back to waste all of you.
So the Sultan's call is more like begging the issue?
No, the Sultan is saying, look, you have to fish out these people so that the military, the armed forces, can put them in the slammer. Because he is convinced that they know the bad eggs, they know those who are killing people. So it's a very good thing that the Sultan has said. The Emir of Anka said the same thing. In fact, he directly demanded that the leaders of the Fulani should do something about these killings. And we know that in Zamfara, the people carrying out the killings are Fulani. They are people that they know. Even pictures, we've provided pictures. The guy, Buhari Ndaji, was well known. It's just like, okay, in Lagos, there's a roughneck that is well known in the neighborhood. You know, just the way it is. And nobody can convince me that in Gwari, which is another lawless part of Nigeria, where cattle rustlers are killing people for fun in Kaduna State, they know the guys who are carrying out these killings. Even pictures of these guys carrying guns. They wanted to buy fuel, I think somewhere in Zamfara. That picture went viral of cattle rustlers. They got to a filling station. I think someone took a photograph of them. They had their guns. They were all on bikes because they stormed villages on bikes. They would put them, say, three cattle rustlers on one bike. So even if you have 30 soldiers guiding a village, by the time they roll in 50 motorcycles, each of them carrying 3 cattle rustlers, they will overwhelm the soldiers.
That's about 150.
Yeah.
Ishmael, how do you take off?
Well, for me, I want to commend Sultan for that. But even before Sultan made that call, I recall that the Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi II, I think in February at the National Executive Committee meeting of Makban in Niger State, made a similar call. You see, my only worry, and I think the Sultan and the Emir expressed the same worry, is that we have not been able to differentiate between criminals and herdsmen, to the extent that when you see an average Fulani on the road with his cattle, the next thing that comes to your mind, oh, this man must be a criminal, this man must be a killer. And except we unite in that regard, it is unlikely if we are going to find a solution to it. Because the truth is that some of this, from the intelligence some of us are opportune to have, some of the parents of these young bandits have confessed to even some government officials that, look, these young men appear to have made up their mind not to live this criminal
wayward life.
You know, and in fact, at a point, it was suggested that maybe the forests where they take refuge should be bombed, and you know, but you know, there's some persons also raised the issue of genocide against the government. So I think government is also finding a way around it.
A middle ground.
Yeah, one of the reasons why a lot of Nigerians appear to be putting Buhari on the spot on this issue is that in 2000 or thereabout, you know, during the time of Lam Adesina as the governor for your state, when there was skirmishes between some Fulani herdsmen and some farmers in I think Shaki area. You know, Buba Marwa, Buhari was the one who led the delegation, you know, to Oyo State government to complain bitterly about the killings of my people. That was the language. And so Nigerians are now looking at it that, okay, look, if when you were outside you could lead a cause for these people, why is it difficult to call them to order? Forgetting that Buhari is just one out of the several patrons of, you know, Miyetti Allah.
Yeah. Gidi, so the figure we are giving is 162 already in you know, nabbed. So will profiling them not serve as a quick way of determining who they really are, truly are?
They know who they are. They have not told us that they do not know who they are. It is we Nigerians who imagine that, oh, these guys are shadowy, their identities, we don't know who they are. They know who they are. The Commissioner of Police in Katsina State, and with the video, we showed the video, we show him talking. He said, I seized these guns, this AK-47, from Fulani headsmen. It's exact words. If there's any doubt, we can play it again. He said, I seized these guns, AK-47, from Fulani headsmen, and we told them that they do not have any right to carry this caliber of weapon. You understand? So they know who, the army,
you know,
let me explain. The army said, we arrested 147 headsmen in Benue State alone. They were clear about who they arrested, headsmen. Then 15 in Taraba. Don't forget, the army also said that they lost 13 of their men. So they engage these guys in a firefight.
You see, my trouble here, Ishmael and Tunde, is, Ishmael, is headsmen from time immemorial had been heading, this is not a new thing, but that they suddenly would become gun carrying is what I cannot reconcile.
There are headsmen who now carry guns for different reasons.
Okay.
There are headsmen who carry guns now. Some of them to protect them against...
Constitutionally so?
They protect themselves against cattle rustlers.
Okay.
Because they are the targets of cattle rustlers.
That's one group.
So I want to believe that the people that the Katsina State Commissioner of Police seized those AK-47 guns that he paraded from, those people that I referred to as cattle, headsmen, Fulani headsmen, it was explicit. Those ones may have armed themselves to protect them against rustlers. There are some too who are not...
just step by step. How difficult at that point would it have been for the commissioner to be convinced or persuaded that they were armed simply because they know the rustlers are there?
No. Katsina and Zamfara have a history of cattle rustling.
Okay.
Serious conflicts between herdsmen and cattle rustlers. The government had to even come up with a program of amnesty, the same thing that Kano has done, so that these cattle rustlers can lay down their arms and all that. So that has always been the case. So if you operate in that part of the country where you know that the next minute you could be attacked by cattle rustlers, you would want to defend yourself one way or the other. Okay. So, and the point that he made was that, look, you have no right to carry this kind of weapons because the president gave that directive, and the president said it in Taraba that, look, there are Fulani headsmen who are not from Nigeria, some of them from Mauritania. He said it clearly. The president said it. And he said, wherever you find them carrying AK-47, you must arrest them and ensure that they are brought to justice. So he made it clear. But there are headsmen too who have engaged a militia to help them carry out killings. For example, if in a Benue town, maybe there's a conflict between farmers and cattle and herdsmen, and the farmers killed some herdsmen, the militia will come and fight on behalf of the herdsmen. That has happened so many times in Plateau State.
Even
you know?
Yes.
So there
I remember you said the grass is greener, in a manner of speaking, in that axis.
In Benue, so two local governments. You know, these killings in Benue are now taking place in just two local governments. Okay. Guma and Logo.
Well, we are told the grass is a lot lush green.
Honestly, I know that
there must be an attraction.
Probably the whole of Benue and Taraba is fertile, in my view.
Yes.
But why the killings are now concentrated on just two local governments? In the past, occasionally they will go to Gwe West and a few other places, but now just two local governments, and these killings are taking place almost every day.
Ishmael, 2 months, 20 or 60 calendar days within which to fish out the culprit. That's a tall order.
It is, and I think if we can wait for this long, I think waiting for another 2 months should not be a burden. Should not be a burden. However, I hope that it will not come to pass as the usual rhetorics that Nigerian leaders are used to from time to time. Because you see, Nigeria, we are such we're a country of people that behave like vulture. You know, when vultures see carcass, the perch on it. Once they are done, they move on.
Yeah.
They no longer,
Yeah.
that is the way,
But for me, I'd love to. But for me, I'd love to. I know Jide has it. I'd love to expand the statement made by the Sultan.
Well, you see, if we're expanding the statement made by Sultan, I beg to say that if you interrogate Sultan's statement very well, he also appears not to be too comfortable with the profiling of every Fulani herdsman as a criminal.
Yeah.
For instance, he did say that that they should find out why Fulanis are being accused of being behind the killings. Why Fulani are being accused. What it means is that, well, we agree there may be bad eggs amongst us, but then I doubt if all these things have been perpetrated by,
Not to say that he himself has the answer. No.
He does. If he does, he won't be he won't be charging the leadership of the Magban to to get the answers for him.
Jide, all in all, this is serious demarketing strategy, a process.
Yes.
The killings should stop because it can be stopped.
The killings have to stop, and I'm convinced that the killings can be stopped. The Agatu killings was worse than this in terms of the number of people killed within a short time. It was worse than this. And the president stepped in at that time, although he didn't step in quickly. But by the time he stepped in, he stopped. They had meetings with stakeholders, and the killing stopped. These killings by herdsmen didn't start today. There is a video that we always show anytime we are talking about it. That video was shot in 2012 in Benue State. That was the day the governor of Benue State escaped being killed. The then governor, Gabriel Suswam. Yes,
I remember.
Yes, his security people had to beat a retreat. And that day he said, see, because something, he was going to inspect the scene of carnage. And then these guys had heads of cattle in front of them, but they had snipers behind the cattle. And they opened fire. As they opened fire, they had the governor's team had to make a U-turn, and they left the place. You will see them as they were moving towards the cattle. But the moment, the pandemonium, yeah, this is it.
Okay.
You see, oh no, we've taken it away. You know? So the moment pandemonium broke out, they had to leave the scene and the recording too stopped. So it didn't start today. And I don't want to believe that these killings can be stopped. It can be stopped because the president is being routinely demarketed by these killings. And the notion people have out there is that he has been powerless to stop the needless bloodletting that is taking place in our land. I mean, if we praise the president so much about what he has done with Boko Haram, then he also needs to show us that he can do the same thing with killing by herdsmen.
Ishmael, which brings me to this. Should we fly some more? Should we offer more? What's the word now? I thought I heard, Jide, you talked about amnesty and so on.
Amnesty.
Yes,
Katsina
is considered in Katsina.
Is it an option?
Well, if
as we bury them.
That is for cattle rustlers.
If it's going to end it, why not? If not, but the thing is, government officials must demonstrate the political will to nip this thing in the bud. In Zamfara, for instance, you hear Marafa every now and then shouting on top of his voices that government, because Zamfara state government, know those
killers. Wow. I'm convinced too that they know the killers.
Who are killing their people,
Okay.
And politicians, they don't talk anyhow. They know themselves.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
So the debate must continue. Now we'll take this break, not before informing you that still ahead, former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, causes political storm with visit to the Emir of Daura. Please stay. All right, then. Let's tell you this, in politics, if anything appears stupid, know that it was so planned. After all, as we have established time and time again, in politics, stupidity is not a handicap. Former Kano State Governor, now Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, raised the political temperature on Sunday when he stormed the president's hometown, Daura, in Katsina State. The leader of the Kwankwasiya political movement was received in audience by the Emir himself, Alhaji Umar Faruk Umar. This couldn't have been an accident, Jide.
No. This was well planned. And, you know, he also had a rally in Kaduna recently. Kwankwaso is someone who keeps his plans closely guided. When you decided...
And you talk about the sense of timing.
Yes, and he also has a sense of time. You will not know what his plan is. When he contested for the APC presidential ticket with Buhari, and he became second, many people were thinking, oh, there will be nothing for him to do, this will affect him badly and all that. They thought that was the end. They didn't know that they actually had a plan to head to the Senate. So the former commissioner for works in Kano at that time, Abba Kabir Yusuf, who had been given the ticket, the senatorial ticket for Kano Central.
Central, yeah.
Kwankwaso had him removed, and then his own name was submitted instead of
at that point, who was the guilty party?
No, because as the governor then, he was the leader of the party, in inverted commas.
Yeah.
So, the party in Kano now replaced someone who had emerged from the primaries as the candidate with the governor who had just lost. You know, so people were not expecting that. They thought, oh, well, he had lost, he would just go and sit back. He took that guy's ticket and then headed to the Senate. So Lado, who was his predecessor, of course, Lado was from the PDP. Lado went to court because he felt, look, the manner in which this guy emerged was wrong. But Bashir Lado lost in court because the court ruled that the APC replaced Kabir Yusuf's
and name. So it was a party?
Yes, before the deadline.
Okay.
The APC replaced the name before the deadline with Kwankwaso's name. So that Kwankwaso had done nothing wrong. So Bashir lost. He lost that case. So I know that the way it's going, many people are waiting for him to declare, when will he declare that he's going to contest. But they have something up their sleeves. I saw a quote by one of his loyalists, Comrade Aminu Abdul Salam. He said, "We have not arrived at the river for us to start crossing. But whenever we are there, we will boldly announce our position, whichever it may be. It's just a matter of time, maybe little time indeed." So I'm convinced that
timing.
Yes, I'm convinced that he's looking for the most auspicious time to take the plunge. Maybe we'll join a different party because it's clear that in this APC, he will go nowhere if he intends to contest against the president.
Even when APC had said there was going to be a national congress and state...
Yes, but everyone knows that the governors of the party, the leadership of the party, they all want the president to be the candidate. Because they think that as the incumbent, he stands a better chance of winning for them than someone else. So they've made up their minds. If Kwankwaso comes out to say he wants to contest from the APC, they will ensure that he doesn't go far.
Ismail, I've heard that he is the prime mover of the Kwankwasiya movement. We hear that's a very influential organization.
It is.
But across board?
Yeah, yes. No, you see, the thing is, I know that he has pockets of followership outside of Kano. I know of that. But you see, they didn't give it to him. Kwankwaso, it's a dogged fighter. I recall when he was running for his second term in office in 2003. You know, those who were opposed to Obasanjo warned him, you know, not to campaign for Obasanjo. That look, if he can abandon Obasanjo, his second term is guaranteed. And the man said, well, Obasanjo is the leader of his party. That would prefer to swim and sink, with him. So he actually lost the second term election because of Obasanjo, not necessarily because Kano people never wanted him, but because they said, look, we don't want this man. And 2003 was the first time Buhari was, making, entry into politics. You asked the question when he took over the ticket that who was the guilty party. If you follow the way some of these things have been done, I'm not privy to any of the arrangement, but I would want to suggest, or I would want to assume that before that guy was given that ticket, there may have been some kind of understanding that, look, you are holding this ticket in trust. I'll come back and...
In Greek, what does that mean?
What it means that, look, you hold it, if I get what I'm looking for,
so be it.
So be it, you also move. But if I don't get it, I will come back and collect this one. I'm sure that was probably...
Jide, what's really on everybody's lips would be the man is going to jump ship.
Ultimately.
Because we hear
Most
that
likely.
the incumbent governor in the state, Ganduje, is not with him.
Yes.
So,
And they won't give him the ticket to return to the Senate.
467 days old today, with 112 of them, that's the girls, yet to return to freedom. The Bring Back Our Girls group, BBOG coalition, wants the federal authorities to provide pictorial, or if you like, video evidence that the remaining girls are alive and well. The group has threatened to go to court to enforce this. The abduction is still counting, gentlemen.
Yes. Out of 113 girls that we believe are still with Boko Haram, Ahmad Salkida claimed, that's the journalist who has contact with some of the top leaders of Boko Haram, told us initially that only 15 were alive. Now he has revised that figure now to say
30?
To say 30 are alive. And the Chibok girls...
We want to believe that?
I don't want... It may be true, but I don't want to believe that. I pray that it is not true. Because what that will mean now is that dozens of these girls have died in captivity. That's what it will mean. By his previous figure, it will have meant that about 98 of them had died in captivity. That's not what any Nigerian wants to hear.
Yeah,
so
but
what these guys are saying, is, look, we want pictorial evidence, video evidence that they are alive. It is naive of the Bring Back Our Girls team to ask for video evidence.
Who will bring it?
How will they get it? If the federal government has that kind of access, they will have stormed the place to take those girls away.
Yeah.
They don't know where the girls are being kept. Even Boko Haram is reluctant to shoot videos this day because some of those videos will provide intelligence information. Because if our soldiers have been combing Sambisa for months, so if you shoot a video somewhere, they may be able to say, okay, this is Tumbonrego or some of these places where they are. They may be able to pinpoint where those girls are. So they too are reluctant to shoot videos. So people who do not know where those girls are, how do you want them to be able to get video evidence? Yes. Then video evidence may never even suggest that someone is alive.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I said they were naive. Look at what happened with the Jordanian pilot. The Jordanian pilot that ISIS shot down, over Syria. This guy had been executed by ISIS. But because there was an ISIS woman, ISIS female jihadist, in the hands of the Jordanians, they wanted to deceive the Jordanian government into releasing the girl. They were claiming that the pilot was still alive, that once they release the girl, they too will release the pilot. When the government now said, you must provide us proof,
evidence,
real evidence, that this guy, this pilot was alive, and they saw that those guys, the kind of conditions that they gave for them to be sure that the pilot had not been killed, it became clear to them that, no, these people could not be conned. They now went ahead and showed the video of his execution. You know, he was set ablaze. They put him in a cage, and then they lit the patch running straight to the cage with petrol.
Yeah.
You know, they lit the fire straight. So the fire ran through to the cage. He could not escape, and he was burned to death there. Such a gruesome end for the pilot. So the moment the government saw that, okay, this is what ISIS had done, the government quickly went and executed the female jihadist who in any case had been sentenced to death. So someone can actually provide you with video evidence that was shot a long time ago.
Otherwise, it may not be foolproof.
Yes, there is no guarantee.
Abubakar is reaching us from Abuja. Abubakar, good evening, welcome.
Good evening, citizen.
I greet you, sir.
Yes, I want to commend Mr. Jide and Ismail. In fact, they have made the house a complete, without that, I think it's complete. I must commend them and
thank you.
the GD section in particular.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to comment on the issue of the Hitman-Farmers clash. You see, it's high time we step the military or the intelligence agencies step up their game. We discover, it seems we are paying lip service to security. Having discovered this large amount of money, even budgeted for our security. So the issue of community policing should be also emphasized so that the activities of the farmers, headmen, if the community policing is well enhanced, the leaders know those who come to their community, they can checkmate them and report to the appropriate agency.
Yeah.
So year in, year out, we make budget for security and nothing is on ground. The question is, where is the money going to?
That's it. Abubakar, except that we are ruled over in a manner of speaking, but not to say that your submission is not in good faith. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you.
Back to BBOG. Ismail Ahmed Sarkida is certainly, for me, a man, a most sought-after gentleman at a time like this, given his links with these guys. Don't you think so?
I beg to disagree.
Okay, it's your right.
Yes, because you see, the thing is, even though I may not like to say certain things on air, but
please don't. Yeah.
But for every journalist who have practiced in Borno between 2001 and up to 2011, will know who Sarkida is. Each time people describe him as a journalist, you know, I try to find out what exactly is the role of a journalist. Now, if we understand the role of a journalist, can we in all honesty say that everything Sarkida has been doing are actually part of his, part and parcel of his
calling?
Calling?
Yeah.
Because, and come to think of it, he told us there were 15 of them that were alive.
Yeah.
Later he said 30. For me, at the risk of sounding
it presumes that he would have counted or allowed to count.
At the risk of sounding modest, I've always seen Sarkida as the propagandist arm of Boko Haram. That is my personal opinion, and that is based on what I know about his antecedents and what I know about him. Having said that, I would employ the Nigerian Security Agency you know, to continue with whatever it is they are doing as far as intelligence, you know, gathering is concerned, to ensure that these guys are back and head. Because you see, if you follow the if you follow what has been happening over the years before now, anytime Sakida says anything, you either see Boko Haram men come to validate whatever he says, or Boko Haram men will say something and Sakida will come.
But he can be profiled.
Well, they have done
intel reports and so on.
Well, they have done it at some point, and you know, there was a time he was even declared wanted, you know, and he presented himself, you know, to the. He's not the only person. There's also one woman who calls herself Mama Boko Haram. Every time that one took Grass interview, I laugh, you know, because most of the things they say don't even add up. They don't add up. But somehow, some government agencies still take them serious, because Boko Haram has been seen as a big franchise in this country, where people, big men, including serving senators, have made money from the franchise. It's only God that will help us.
At least, thankfully, none of us here is heading for the Senate. So I'm not bothered here. Gidi, but let's go back to BBOG itself and police and disruption of peaceful protest over time, you know, taking off from the BB. So what do the rule books say about a procession like this, you know?
Well, the kind of protest that the BBOG are organizing are lawful protests. And
you need clearance?
yes, the judge, and you don't even need clearance.
I think
A judge ruled
in 2014
that
or so.
you do not have to disrupt such peaceful protests. If it's a violent protest,
Who defines peaceful?
no, the kind of protest is a sit-in, for example, that they do.
Okay.
They go to the
Unity Fountain.
the Unity Fountain, just sit down, you know, and then talking about the Chibok guests, praying and talking about why government needs to do something quickly to rescue these guests. They are peaceful, and then you go to such a place to disrupt them. No, we are not being ruled by decrees anymore. Protests are legitimate means of agitation in a democracy. And the manner of this kind of protest by the BBOG are not unlawful.
Okay.
This kind of protest is not unlawful.
Because I was interested in knowing who defines how
No,
peaceful or otherwise.
The judge in handing down that ruling established that by the nature of the protest that they are carrying out, they've not contravened any law.
Ismail, I'm wondering, the old protest was, the old regime was to inform the police at so and so a date we are likely to process. And then you wait for clearance.
No, I think there has been a court pronouncement, you know, about that.
So in this case, okay, we have a call from Taraba. I hear Peter is there. Peter, are you there? Good evening.
Yeah, I'm there. Good evening to the judge.
Welcome.
Good evening to Baragide.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Other guests.
Ismail is here.
So one paper I want to ask, you know, these things, you don't just call it immediately and get it. You may start from the beginning of the program. So before you get it, maybe some might have passed, and you know, don't just call it.
No. I understand, but sometimes it helps to tailor one or two issues together.
Yeah,
if you take us,
you must follow, make you. Okay, please let me say something about the past discussion, please. You see, about these killings in Nigeria. To me, the way I felt about the respect that our president had in this country, I believe that if he wants to know what is happening about it, he will know. So I believe if he gives call to this Miyetti Allah, to his office, their leader, they call.
Yeah.
Ask everyone to give them chance. Discuss it within them. I believe they will tell him what is happening.
Yeah, Peter, thank you. I'm sorry, except that it was the first issue we dealt with. We have passed on, crossed a number of bridges, but thank you very kindly.
Okay, let me quickly, hold on.
Yeah.
Justice Sunday Kolade-Otitoju
Yeah.
of the FCT High Court ruled in October 2014 that the police lack the power to prevent civil protests.
Okay.
You know, because Decree 2 and Decree 4 are no longer active.
Until those protests behave otherwise.
Yeah, if they become violent, then the police can be called in and all that.
But the police
not
can,
this kind of protest.
But the
where
police
people
can,
sit in the same.
The police can shadow.
That's not prevention. That's not prevention.
Yeah, they can shadow.
But to stop them from holding protests and all that, they've been tear gassed a number of times.
But you know one funny
That's the
thing? You know one funny thing? You know one funny thing? Under Jonathan, when the security agencies were also disrupting protests, some APC members were part of the Nigerians that were shouting that what the government was doing was wrong.
What's wrong?
Unfortunately, you know, Nigeria, I don't know.
To say what goes around.
The issue is on a different foot now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Again, this is politics, Nigerian style. Okay, then, the debate must continue. Now, hear this. One of the biggest news out of the sporting world today will be Arsene Wenger's announcement to quit Arsenal at the end of the season. Wenger has been in charge of the London club for close to 22 years now, won 3 Premiership League titles, 7 FA Cups, and 7 Community Shields. Gentlemen, when a man has done his best,
Yes.
there's little more he can do.
Okay.
Yes, and clearly diminishing return had set in. Arsene Wenger has not been able to win the Premier League for many years.
Yeah.
For many years. New coaches have come, joined teams like Chelsea, joined teams like Man City, and have been winning the trophy. So in 22 years, he's been able to win the Premier League just 3 times. I think the last one was in
You call it
2004.
just?
Yes. If you know how many Wenger has won, you know, just in 22 years, that's a long time. That's a long time. So, and the last one came, I think, around 2004 or so.
2003, 2004.
Now, 2003, 2004 season. Now, he has also reached 3 European Cup finals and didn't win any, including the UEFA Cup. Now, he is doing well in the Europa Cup currently. One can only hope that he will be able to win this so that he can live on a high note.
Because icing on the cake.
Yes, that can actually be his icing on the cake. I was reading what Mourinho is the man who described Arsene Wenger as a specialist in failure because of his inability to win the big trophies. And he's saying, I always had respect for Wenger. I hope he doesn't retire. That's a man who called him. And there have been other tributes, like Ferguson is saying, I have great respect for him. And even Kroenke, the majority shareholder of Arsenal, described him as someone who transformed the identity of our club and the English game with his vision. You know? He described him as a man of unparalleled class.
Ishmael, you know, he changed the English game.
Yeah, he did.
Brought panache, as you know, the French league, the French football is fluid, free flowing.
Yes,
you know.
yes. And one other thing you must give to him is his ability to give youngsters, you know, opportunity, to sell themselves. I think what I would just say is to wish him well in retirement. Like they say, that it's always good to live when the ovation is loudest.
Because if Arsenal, in spite of not winning many laurels in the last 10, 15 years, one of the 6 richest clubs on the planet.
And they love him. You know, when the fans, when they make the argument, they say, well, if we are not winning, we are making money. You know, when you yes, when you listen to
The
them,
Arsenal fans are very interesting.
when you listen to Arsenal fans,
They are very interesting.
very
This
interesting.
is one here.
When Wenger fails to win a match, they will call him all kinds of names. But the moment he wins a match, they will say, "Oh, Wenger we trust." So Arsenal fans are very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes.
As opposed
very
to which fans now?
As opposed to fans
Don't
of
say
the
names
great
here,
Manchester United.
come on.
Anyway, I believe that it will be difficult to fill the vacuum that he has created.
It provokes the debate of who steps in.
Yes, that is the. But in my view, Arsenal would do well to find maybe one of their former players
I've heard
who is
Vieira.
familiar with the culture of the club, because this man did not just coach the club. He changed virtually everything about the club. Even he introduced the right diet to English football. And players have admitted that. Wenger also played a part even in designing that Emirates Stadium. So he's a very brilliant man whose ideas effectively changed.
And that they build the Emirate without borrowing.
Yes.
It's also...
No, in terms,
It's a big club.
it's done well to position the club as a financial entity that one can be proud of. It's done well to do that. And I think that even the board got carried away with just making the money, and they didn't think, well, that it matters so much if they didn't win those big trophies like the Champions League, like the league and all that. So, and Wenger, so that he could make more money, decided to focus on those young players, to bring up those young players.
Yeah.
People like Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry was a winger playing for France in the 1998 World Cup finals. But Arsene Wenger brought him, turned him to a central striker.
No, that's it.
And that's where he made his mark and became one of the best in the world. There are many players too that he has developed. Wherever those players are today, they will be grateful to Arsene Wenger.
Ishmael, you know, the viewer is wondering, is Jide truly a Nigerian? He should be talking about his what club now?
Manchester United.
No. I should be talking about
Rangers International.
Of my Aqua United.
Aqua United.
Oh, come on. All right, gentlemen, it's a long week, and so we must take the desired...
It's Friday again.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
What's going to happen?
Go to to town and spend...
No, I'm talking
enjoy
about
yourself.
you.
Enjoy yourself and send the bills to me.
You post questions, you throw questions at people. We don't parry your questions. I'm asking you what is going to happen.
Ishmael Omikbidon, thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
That's effective parrying.
Jide, well, Monday is another day. Please join us. But then watch a repeat broadcast of this particular episode at 11 today. And of course, watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen now, and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same, Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Citizen Jones. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye now.